Hello again, everyone, and welcome to our season finale for the Spring Sport edition of Longhorn Weekly, heard all across the state of Texas and the great Southwest on the Longhorn IMG radio network and viewed by those of you watching right here on the Longhorn Network. So we've heard from all of the coaches throughout the course of this academic and athletic school year, so maybe it's only fitting that we cap it all by hearing from the man in charge of it all, Athletic Director Steve Patterson. It's great to have you with us.
Thanks.
And I guess I should start off by saying, are you finally settled in? Has life as well as the job settled in for you now?
Yeah, it's been roughly 6 months, and I think we got through the football transition and the spring sports, and we're even the postseason here with the spring sports, and heading towards the summertime. We got through graduation over the weekend, which is good, and so I feel good about where we're headed right now.
How was your house hunting experience like?
I think we might be there. Really?
Because that's an adventure in the Central Texas and Austin area.
It is. I tell you, it's a seller's market around here.
What were the first few weeks like for you in just getting, you might say, the lay of the land? I mean, you'd been here 30 years before as a student as well, and obviously very familiar with the area. But until you settle in to work professionally and try to live and settle down, that's a completely different kettle of fish. What was it like for you the first few weeks and first couple of months leading into it all?
Well, it was great to be back. You get reacquainted with a lot of folks that maybe in many cases you haven't talked to in 30 years. It's great to be back on the campus. A little bit of wow when you look at the changes, and a little bit of wow when you look at the changes around the city, particularly with the changes in downtown. But then you go get to check in at Matt's El Rancho or a few other of your favorite barbecue joints, and you feel you're back at home.
One of the things that folks have talked about having you as athletic director is the fact that it's a guy with familiarity of the lay of the land. And like you said, there's some things that change, and we know Austin is an incredibly growing, vibrant city as well, but you seem to get pretty comfortable pretty quick around here.
Well, the first football game we were here for, my wife and I actually started touring the suites about 2 hours before the game and didn't get back to the AD suite till halftime. So you sort of forget how many people you know their kids, their grandparents, their grandkids, and you get a chance to talk to them. So having spent a lot of time working in Houston for a lot of years, living in Austin for 8-9 years, and doing a lot of work in Dallas, you start to realize how many folks you really know around here.
Now, having said what we said, it's certainly about football. The other big thing that's got a lot of folks excited in these parts and really all across the state of Texas is the Coming On Strong Tour, and you've been able to be on several of those dates as well. Yeah. It's been a really unique and novel concept. Why this? What was the impetus behind this tour and your evaluation of the tour throughout the course of the spring?
Well, really, it'd been 16 years since the school had done a tour like this when Matt came here, and he had a great long career, and so it was a chance to really reconnect with the donors in a lot of the communities, with the alumni in a lot of communities, with the high school coaches, with the fans on the street, and to be able to talk to a lot of the press in those marketplaces. So it's been phenomenally successful over the course of the last month. 13 cities. We're going to fly over we got Beaumont and Waco as the last two stops. Charlie was the one that wanted to add Lubbock and Waco, and I told him, great, let's go ahead. And but whether it was down in the valley with all the great families we had there, or with 1,100 folks in the Reliant Stadium in Houston, or the great turnouts in Fort Worth, or San Antonio, or Midland, anywhere, it's been sold out everywhere we've gone. Really, I think, energized a lot of the fan base around the state. Got a chance to meet our supporters and the media in all those marketplaces and really tell the story of Charlie Strong and why we hired him and where we're headed with the football program.
Well, that was where I was going next, the message that was coming from the tour to the fans, and for that matter, the feedback you've gotten from the fans at these tour stops. Yeah,
it's been a lot of fun just to meet people from all walks of life in each of the towns. But really, we wanted to let everybody know about how alive and vibrant we are, and particularly with the football program. We took a number of the other coaches with us on a number of the stops. Rick was with us on a few, Karen Ash and others. So you get a more rounded view of the department as a whole. It's one thing to communicate via the media or social media or otherwise, but you know, when you get to shake hands with the coach and the assistant coaches and a number of the different personnel related to each one of the teams, I think it has a more direct connection for folks all over the state. You start to see the real depth of the fan base across the state, and I think it was uplifting for the staff here, and I know it was for a lot of the folks around the state, just getting the feedback from them.
All right, now you were a Houston guy and an Austin guy, so were there any of these stops you hadn't been familiar with, places like Amarillo or down in the Rio Grande Valley, and those some of the more remote spots along the way that were kind of new to you?
No, I lived in Texas for 30 years, yeah. So I've covered most of the state at different points in time. You know, it was fun actually to see how some of the markets had changed or some of the new buildings. It was kind of fun to be in Corpus Christi and see the new Whataburger ballpark, which I hadn't had a chance to see before. And you know, you see some of the boom that's going on in McAllen, and it'll be fun to be over in Beaumont this afternoon, and at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame in Waco. I think was most impressed with the fans all over the state, and you know, it's just great to have a chance to get around and touch everybody. You know, as a builder of facilities as you have been, do you, when you go into places like that, look at facilities and you're kind of looking at with a critical eye, or at least an assessment of the specific athletic facilities in some of these places you've gone? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's you know, people ask me, do I like going to sporting events, and it's really not relaxing for me, because I wind up, you know, looking at the signage, looking at the concession stands, looking at the security, where are they taking tickets, how they design this place, how many suites they got, what are they selling them for, what do the signage look like. So you see all these facilities and you try to learn from them, because every generation of buildings gets better because they get to look at the last ones that got built. And I think they're also kind of fun to look at in terms of what they reflect about the city that they're built in, and the different cultures of the towns, the different important things that go into each one of those towns, and what their decision criteria was for their facilities.